Okay. Welcome back to the Sean Trace Show. I actually have a really good friend of mine tonight that will be answering some questions, and I'm going to scare the crap out of her. Now, would you like to introduce yourself tonight to our audience?
Oh, wow. Hi, I'm Amarie. I'm from Iceland, and I am an actress.
Cool. Now,
I met Sean through acting class.
We did.
Yes, we did.
And we have had a couple. We did a short film together too. That was recently
in
a festival.
Oh my God, Sean! Can we start it over? This is so awkward. Please, come on. Let's, all right. No. Let's start it over. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Hi, my name is Sean. This is the Sean Trace Show, and I have a friend with me today. Now, what is your name? Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi. Well, thank you for having me. My name is Amarie, and I'm from Iceland.
Cool.
I'm an actress, and do a lot of other stuff, but mainly here.
Awesome.
I am an actress.
Awesome. Now, so much to ask here. You're from Iceland, and have you always been an actor, or did you do? I believe you danced before as well, right?
Yeah. Well, I started dancing when I was 3. I danced for 12 years, so that was a big part of my life. But when I was young, acting was a huge part of it too. It was so natural and just came, I think, adjacent. That's the word I'm looking for, to the dance. And then I kind of lost it a little bit around, I think, 13.
Okay.
Because I did a movie and I got picked on pretty bad.
That's not fun.
At school for wanting to do acting because I lived in a really small town. And then I think I was 18, 19, something like that, and I quit dancing and I found acting again. Thanks to my film studies teacher.
That's awesome. Now, what you got into it really young. What type of acting were you doing when you were young? Was it theater? Was it TV stuff?
I was in a choir, an all-girls choir, and we used to do musicals.
Nice. Any famous musicals? Are these Icelandic musicals? What type of musicals were you doing?
We did Little Mermaid. Nice. We did Annie. That was a little bit later, but yeah. There were a couple ones, and then, some Icelandic ones, and then just like school recitals. And I think we did what's it called in English? The nativity?
Yeah, the nativity, the Bible, the Jesus story,
Yeah, we used to do that one too.
That's cool.
And I was Angel Gabriel.
That's a heck of a role to play. No, that was awesome. Also played by a woman. Gabriel was also played by a woman in the movie Constantine. Played,
really?
By Tilda Swinton. Tilda Swinton played the Archangel.
I love her.
Or was it Gabriel?
Yeah,
or was
she's
she
a boss.
She might have been Michael. So I'll have to double check. But a great movie. I love Keanu Reeves, and I can never get enough Keanu. I'm enjoying all of the Matrix Resurrection trilogy.
There's a Matrix.
The new trailer just came out.
I'm excited for that.
And
I actually just recently saw The Matrix for the first time.
Wow. What did you think? It's dated now.
Well, is it?
Is it? We're actually living in a simulation, so we're kind of approaching that, I think, personally.
I just thought it was a very modern concept for its time, I'd say.
I think so. There was something cool. There's something really cool. Really messed with me, and I think that's what they were trying to do. If you go on to the trailer and you get to click either a red pill or a green pill. And so it's 11:16 here in Vietnam, where I'm at. It's much earlier in Iceland. But if you click on it...
Yes, we still have daylight.
It is nighttime here, because my house is peaceful at night. We have a lot of people in my house, and everyone's sleeping now. But you click on the trailer, and then it's like... And they start doing this voiceover where they're talking to the audience, and they're like, it's 11:06. You might think it's 11:16 p.m., but really... And I was like, what the hell? They know what time it is? So I guess the trailer is moderately interactive. It will read whatever time it is where you're at Oh yeah, as soon as we're done, you're gonna go check it out. I know you are. And so
I
was
am,
just like,
yeah.
that's awesome.
I love that stuff. Oh, what did Black Mirror? They did an interactive
I
film.
didn't know that.
I think in 2019,
I didn't know that. That's pretty.
2019,
I'll have to check it
2020.
out.
That one was really cool. You can choose the story, and it gives you a different ending. And I watched it like 5 times, trying to get a different story every time.
My most recent experience to choose your ending of a story was actually with Puss in Boots on Netflix for my daughter. We were like,
Puss in Boots?
It's totally interactive. You can pick the ending too. So I was like, yeah,
That's awesome.
that's my frame of reference there. And I also have a 5-year-old daughter. So what can you do? Well, that's really interesting. And I talked to one of my guests about how theater is really something that a lot of actors start in musicals as well, because it's something that a lot of schools actually have for kids. Now, what was it like for you to take part in these musicals? Was it fun? Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it as a kid, but I think I didn't really think about it. I think it was just something you did. You were in musicals, you sang, you did, you acted, you put on a show. I didn't really question it at the time. And then I think when I got a bit older, I remember my dance teacher who was casting for Annie. She wanted me to go for the main role, and I was traumatized. This was right after I'd done the film, and everybody was like making fun of me because I was like being all serious and like acting and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I can't do it. I don't want to no. So I ended up just playing an orphan, and I had a grand time, and but I still had I still had fun. And
I talked to my friends about this. So if you go to LA, you're lucky that you started. You're an actor in Iceland, because LA is this really moderately toxic acting environment, because everyone moves there and everyone's like trying, and there's this major level of competition, and there's this hierarchy of roles. Like, you're a background, you're this role, you're a day player, you're, a series regular. And like, even when I was on set, people are like, oh, this group doesn't hang out with this group. Every single role that you get to do is important, because it's experience. It's fun.
Yeah.
And it's just, who cares, like, labels, or, you are simply an orphan, but it's awesome, it's fun.
No, I think, like me, I've taken so many acting classes, and the most profound learning for me is always on set or on stage.
100%.
Like I learned so much more than I could ever learn, in a controlled setting. I think it's maybe the anxiety, the immediacy, like this is the moment right now, and you just kind of gotta go.
There's 2 types of learning that's going on. Like, acting classes are good for theory, to give you, kind of a foundation. But, like, at the end of the day, you gotta get into a job and practice. Because, you can only do so much in a classroom. After that, there's a point where you just have to be doing it. And that's anything, That's anything. It's like, I'm a martial artist. And, you can practice.
Which I think is so cool, by the way.
Thank you.
When you told me, I was like, wow.
I used to be able to kick ass before I had a child and got old. But, I still train hard. It's just things hurt longer after you train.
Yeah.
But it's God, if I was starting to do judo throws. Though, the most injured I've ever gotten in my life wasn't from martial arts. The most injured I ever got, water slide, herniated disc. And
wow.
Yeah, no fun. And then went by, never flared up, calmed down. I was able to do everything, do judo again, do jujitsu, do Muay Thai. Nothing flared up that disc. Disc was totally fine. Until I took my daughter to a trampoline. And Daddy was trying to show her how to dunk with the basketball and the super high hoop. And I was like, ah! And it was just like in those movies where you see the old guy, he's like, oh my back! Just like that. And my doctor was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, dude, hasn't hurt like this since the water slide. He's like, yeah, you haven't been doing much, activities that really compress the spine except for trampolines. Yeah. And I was like, no. Yeah, and it's been no fun since then. But, yeah, I'm not a fan of trampolines anymore. But
That's too bad.
It's all good. It's part of life. Is you. But I prefer to have jumped on the trampoline and have a hurt back than to never try jumping on a trampoline. It's like that. Give yourself a permission to try.
Yeah, and your daughter will remember this.
She'll remember me in spasms on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh!
But at least Daddy tried.
At least Daddy
he
tried.
he went for it.
Daddy went for. Oh man, I'm gonna be one of those dads. But if that's what it is, it's what it is.
That's the best.
Right? No.
They show you, they teach you to have no fear.
Exactly, and that's something. We had a conversation a little bit about this before we started. The importance of teaching kids new ways to see things. Now, how about your parents? What did your parents teach you that helped you in your career and in your life? What are some of the things that you think they passed on to you?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I think I grew up mostly with my mom.
Okay.
And I think she taught me just to never give up. Don't surrender, because it's not over till you're dead.
I love that.
So there's always something more to do. And I remember when I would come home and I'd be at school and I maybe didn't do my best, on a test. She would always tell me, you did the best you could at that moment. And I think competing, or not competing, but only thinking about yourself and wanting to get better than what you did last time. I think that's a really healthy thing that she taught me, to not be in competition with anyone else.
You bring up a really interesting point. So I remember one audition that I went on in LA, and I walked into this room, and it was a really surreal experience. I love that auditions have all gone online now, because to me, I love it because it reduces the competition. But at this time, it used to be you'd go, especially in LA, you'd go to this room, and it was the creepiest part is I would go in and there's a room of 20 other guys who look just like me, because they were casting for a look, and I was like, God, and a lot of them are better looking than me, and I'm just feeling really uncomfortable. Like, oh, that's what I'm like in a different universe where I look more handsome or something else, And
more experience, done something else, taller.
We're waiting, and I'm in line, and there's the guy goes in front of me, and there's a really messed up situation because they left the door open so you can see the person going ahead of you, and this guy kills it, hands down, funniest guy I've ever seen. It was this handsome, funnier version of me, and I was like. And I walked in the room, and he walks out. He's like, "Good luck, buddy." And I was like, "No, you don't have to be nice to me. That makes it harder. Be an asshole."
That's so condescending as well.
You'll do
better
great.
than that.
I'm like, no,
I dare you.
Don't be nice.
Oh God.
And I walked in, and they're like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, and I looked at them, and I was like, "Are you guys serious? I'm gonna save your time. Cast that guy. He's awesome. I can't compete with that. Really? I don't even want to go right now." And they started laughing, and they started just cracking up, and and they said, "Well, give it a shot for your own sake." And and I finished, and they were like, "You know what? You're right. He was better than you." But what? It was interesting because
that's not soul crushing at all.
One of the guys reached out. He's like, "You know what? For what we're looking for, that guy was a better match. Maybe we'll find someone even better than him. But you're really interesting. Here's my card. We'd love to chat with you sometime." And so I got a connection with someone there, and I don't even know if anything happened from that. But what I loved about that was I could have tried to be in competition. I could have tried to compete with that guy.
Yeah.
But when you get into competition, it's a losing game because you don't get to be you.
Yeah.
So what's special about you?
About me? I guess there's just me. there's no other version of me. So, I can only bring what I can bring.
I like that.
And when you talk about like being in competition, I never really got that because all of my experiences of theater and film, it's a teamwork from the start to finish.
Yes.
You are just a part of a team, and you gotta do your role. And even if you're the one in front of a camera, there are 20 people looking at you that have spent years developing the script, that have spent hours setting up the lighting, and you're just a part of the team. And I think just working well with people, the people that you're working with, and giving them something good to work with. I think that's what I focus on, rather than agree. Like, oh, is she better than me, or like does she bring something, does she outshine me in this performance? I think, oh god, who was it? I think it was in Chekhov, the Chekhov technique.
Yeah,
I was in an acting class, and my acting teacher, she said, a good actor is one that makes your co-star look better.
Nice.
And I took that with me. I was like, you know what? Yeah, like that's the person that I would want to work with. Somebody that helps you shine, that helps you deliver, your lines, because acting is hard and stressful, and it takes a lot out of you. And just to have a good partner that's empathetic and, a brilliant performer, and then to, have that collaboration, I think is really awesome.
I took a class from a really great teacher, David Brunetti. I'm going to plug David because David's one of the most amazing people I know. And I'm going to pop up a link to his stuff over here because he's a great teacher. And he teaches musical theater. So he focuses more on singing. And one of the things that he says in his class that I really love is that when you're singing in your role, your character, what you need to remember is that you are not the most important character in the scene. Your goal of your song, of your singing, is to bring attention to the other person who you have to perceive as the protagonist of the movie or of the scene. That you really, even if it's an extra, you have to bring attention to them, because by bringing attention to them, you highlight something special about them, and you make them shine, and that in a reciprocal way makes your character shine, because there's a hello kitty cat. There is something.
All the kitty cats.
Nice. So diving back in. We recently worked on a short film together that I loved.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Volcano Man.
Volcano Man.
Shout out to Johan.
Yeah, he just was recently at the film festival in Denmark.
Did he go?
He did.
He was nominated
for Best Actor. Sadly, was not the winner, but nomination is pretty awesome too. So,
hey, that's the nomination is what counts.
But what was awesome about that is like it goes back to what you were talking about. Is like here we've got people in Iceland. I'm in Vietnam. I get to play your really horrible psychologist who pulls out a puppet mid-scene, and I love that. I
think you were just adding to the family trauma rather than
not helping in any way, shape, or form.
No,
but it's so collaborative. Like here, you guys, like I recorded my stuff just on my phone, and I kind of freestyled. You all got me a kind of a base script and kind of just went with it. And then you guys freestyled above and beyond that.
Oh, yeah. No, that entire scene is me freestyling.
So hilarious, man. And so for anyone who hasn't watched, please watch Volcano Man. It's hilarious. I don't know where they can find it, but we'll talk to you.
Oh, God.
I'll see if I can find it.
One of my jokes actually made it into the final cut of the film where the guard is running after Johan's character, and he's like, no, this is Castration Valley. And then Johan goes, no, thank you, I like my balls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was your joke?
That was
hilarious.
That was me. I was yelling that on set.
That's
Or
awesome.
like on set near the volcano where we hiked for
Which
like
is
3 hours
awesome.
to
You
get
guys
the shot.
hiked up to a freaking active volcano to shoot.
Yeah.
And it was like a 3-hour.
And then there were people yelling at us, like telling us to shut up, and we were just like, we're making movies, man.
So awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. But I mean, I love how it was like, one of the things that I loved about that is that comedy is not. We've been in a really tough situation here in Vietnam right now. We're dealing with a major lockdown, and Delta is just really bad. And it's a tough situation.
Not many vaccination shipments coming in for you.
Luckily, it's been coming. My wife and myself have gotten vaccinated. And you know,
awesome.
Luckily, a lot of people I know now are vaccinated. And the city, they're doing a great job getting it in, you know, the best they can. It's just,
awesome.
You know, it's worldwide. Supply is tricky, man. It's a big moving thing that there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
But, you know,
it's been heavy.
It is. That's it. And so, like, even the last week, you know, we're just at this point of like, what do we do, man? And so we watched Deadpool last night, Deadpool 2 tonight, and just cracking up. And even in the midst of heaviness, you can find that laughter, you know? But comedy allows us to rise above, you know? And I think that that's something that the world sorely needs, is some levity.
I think just art in general.
Tell me.
I've been turning to music a lot.
What music are you listening to right now?
Oh, God. I got into this. Oh God, what is he called? You mind if I check?
Not a problem. Please reference the. Are you a Spotify person or an Apple Music?
I am a Spotify person.
As am I.
Indeed.
Spotify, you can please send us the check after this episode.
I know you Americans don't pronounce the H in
anything
Herb
correctly.
Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass.
Oh, to Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass is solid jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
I've been really into it because it's like, I have a friend who loves jazz, and he said, I love jazz because I can't follow it, and that makes me calm.
I was listening
rather than like listening
Amy Winehouse tonight on vinyl.
Amy Winehouse. Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah. But a little bit of a downer, but you know, sometimes it feels good. And today I New Kids on the Block t-shirt to rock tonight, rocking out my
awesome.
Really horrible thrift store find, but awesome thrift store find.
I found this vest at the thrift store lately. I think it was 2 days ago. It's coming. Winter is coming, son.
And you're in Iceland. It's cold.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not going to be enough. I have to wear like a down parka and everything.
Yeah, man. You gotta you guys have to wear the thing so that you only have like this much showing, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm in the city, so it's a little easier here, but it still gets really fucking cold.
Where Yoel lives. Like he sent me a photo.
He's like, out in the countryside. Yeah.
He sent me a photo. He's like, these are the Northern Lights. I was like, Christ. Oh my God.
Backyard Northern Lights.
I was like, oh, in Vietnam, it was 35 today.
Degrees?
Yeah, dude, it's hot here, always, year round.
Oh my God.
And the hottest time of year.
Humid, too.
Humid. But we get some dry season. The dry season, it's in the middle of rainy season right now. It's been cooler because we got a big tropical storm coming in.
Right.
But yeah, music lifts you up, you know?
Yeah.
What are your go-to songs when you're down?
Oh, when I'm down, I like to just sit down and process stuff. So I listen to a lot of like frequency music and like singing bowls.
Nice.
And angel sounds on YouTube.
We have the what was it? The hang drums.
Yeah. All that stuff. I get really into it. It's really relaxing because it keeps the same tone throughout the entire thing, so you can kind of like get your breathing into it.
I find joy in sharing information. I really do. And helping people. But there are moments.
You helped me a lot. I remember when I first met you in acting class, we got into our first practice on Skype, I believe.
Yeah.
And you didn't even say, hi, how are you? I'm Sean. Like all the little things. You just went right into it. And then I believe we talked for like 2 hours afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, I thought it was so refreshing. I don't know. I really enjoyed working with you. And then
I've been a
when I did
teacher for 15
the
years.
audition that I did.
Yeah, which was an awesome audition.
Awesome audition. But I think you kind of helped me reach kind of an epiphany.
What was that?
You know, in self-taping, I think it was just like having a method to the madness, if you will, because you're always trying to cram so much into, because you get like 2 days.
Oh yeah.
And you gotta, get your character, learn your lines.
Non-film people, a self-tape is the standard way that you book a role. And self-taping is generally, it's rushed. What's your normal turnaround on a self-tape?
2-3 days.
Yeah, so you get a scene that's been emailed to you, and like it's not always like a cohesive scene. It's like just lines, and then like they jump to the next section so they can show you doing like different versions of the character.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, and you get 2 days.
Sometimes they do send you the script with it. I really appreciate that, because then I can sit at work and like in my breaks I can read through it and like kind of figure out where I am and what I'm doing. But the initial method helped me tremendously in learning my lines, because I now can read it once through, do the initial method, and I'm done.
Yeah, it's.
I have my friend read with me, and he's just like, "How have you learned it so fast?"
So for people who
like,
don't know this method,
I don't know.
You write the first letter of each word in your scene. So if you're saying "How are you doing?" it would be HAYD, and then you have to include the punctuation.
Yeah, question mark, dot, everything.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it doesn't work as well, because you don't know what type of sentence it is. But it works wonders.
It works.
I am horrible at lines.
It sticks.
And that saves me. Even with that, though, it takes me more than 2 days. I'm like, oh. But the other way, the step beyond that, I did some more research, is to practice. So you have a paper, you can photocopy some paper with just the words on it, and then you write them out. And so practicing the writing actually helps you also. It gives you this, I don't know, I forget there's a scientific rationale for it, but it allows you to process it in a physical way, and you can remember.
Yeah. I think that's why they make you write in school.
Yeah, exactly.
To make you remember. But I've like this helped me so much, because it gave me more time to figure out the character, and then I'm just like, I'll be driving to work and I'll be like saying my lines, and I'll be at the bathroom just like reciting a little bit of the text, and then I do all the steps that I go through, and it's given me a lot more confidence, because I used to be a nervous wreck.
Yeah, right.
Doing auditions. Yeah, I still am. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not, because it's nerve-wracking.
It's nerve-wracking.
And but it helps, and if it helps someone else, that's awesome. And that's something that you gave me, so I'll be forever grateful.
And I that's what I love. I love passing information around, and that's one of the reasons I started this podcast. Is honest to God, I feel like I would have been more successful if people had have given me information earlier in my career to just help the steps along the way. And I feel like there are, at times, all of us, but actually I'm not going to complain like that, because that makes me sound like I'm resenting the journey I had, and I love the journey I had. It got me to where I am. But I feel like if we can share information, other people will be able to overcome some of the hurdles and obstacles they have. And maybe some of these people watching this are not even, creatives, but just are dealing with stuff that they're dealing with, because life is tricky. I'm pretty sure that most of my videos, the only person watching them is my mother. So hi, Mom, again.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hope you're well over in the U.S.
Why do you want to do this career? What do you want to get out of it?
Wow.
Light questions today, little things.
Yeah, just like, very surface level.
Nothing heavy.
Easier.
Nothing serious.
I think acting gave me confidence, because when I got back to acting, I had no confidence whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's really sad actually. I was so depressed. I was, I think, halfway through my college education, and I took an acting class because I was like, you know what? I don't dance anymore. I need a creative outlet that's, less physically demanding as dancing, because I had an injury. And I took an acting class just at my college, and I sucked. I got up I got up on stage and I couldn't hear my own voice because my heart was beating so loud in my ears. And I remember I was so mad. I was so angry. I was like, why is this so hard for me when it used to come so easy?
Yeah.
And I think it took me on a journey of, having to radically accept myself. It took me on a journey to really, go into introspection about who I am, what I want, where I came from, and what I want to say. And I think I'm still pretty young. It's a process, but I always just remember, because I grew up pretty lonely. I always had these intense bouts of loneliness and just like, being in your own head a lot. And I remember that movies and these people on the screen, they taught me so much, and they were there for you when, nobody else was. And they could be a friend in a certain way. And I always just remember, I wanted to be that for people.
Right.
I wanted to just, teach them something, maybe give them a different perspective, make them laugh, show them that, life is not always just a constant bout of one emotion. You will go through all of them, and it's a journey.
Mother Teresa, I remember this story. I can't remember where I read it, but it's a true story. Mother Teresa was meeting with a bunch of like Bollywood actors, and they were all like, here you are like treating people with leprosy and really helping, and we're like, doing movies and stuff, and we feel really superficial. And and she was like, she made this interesting point. She's like, not speaking to different people's individual characters, but she's like, your job is equally important, because you get people need to feel like they're not alone. People need to be able to identify with someone else's experience, and this is one of the things we were talking before. And I had looked at, when I started this show, like, what happens when people have a political opinion, this or that, that's different than mine. And one of the things that I looked at is, I don't have all the answers. I have opinions. And I think plenty of my opinions are right. I might not be. But if we cannot create a dialogue, if we cannot create a conversation, if we cannot start talking about stuff, we can't fix anything. Because we have to talk about it. How do you think film can be used as a tool to enlighten people?
I think all movies are important, because, when you watch a movie, especially if you watch it with someone, like, imagine you go into the cinema with your friend and you walk out, there's always something to say. If it was good, if it was bad.
Yeah.
If it was something profound, if it was just, missed the mark totally. And then maybe even if it missed the mark, you can kind of start talking about the things that, hit the mark. And it can be so simple. Like, I went to the movie Shang-Chi and the what's it called? The Legend of the Ten Rings the other day. And me and my friend, we came out like doing like karate moves and like kung fu, and we were just like, oh my God, this movie made us feel like, imagine if you were a 10-year-old and you would go to that movie, you would go home and you would play pretend karate, for weeks afterwards, because it really, sparked something in the imagination. And I think any movie has the possibility to have an impact on anyone.
Yeah.
I think it's just the matter of where you are in your life. And even that me, like I'm in my 20s and I went to a movie and I came out a child.
Right?
And that was just joyous and fun. And, you know, sometimes it's really heavy. Like when I watched Arrival, I laid in my bed and I cried for like an hour. Yeah. I'm not even kidding. I was just like, you know,
oh my God,
processing everything and like thinking about my life up until this point and how it's going to be. It was like,
do you know what movie gets me every time?
What?
Interstellar.
Oh, yeah.
Because the dad goes and then he communicates to his daughter, and like I just think about my kid and I'm just like, oh, gets me every time, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. But let's pick 3 movies, or even 2 or 1, 2. What are some of the most profound movies that have influenced your consciousness, your wokeness?
Wow. My wokeness?
Wokeness.
My God.
I can be hip.
Of course you can. Of course you can. It's all about empathy. Wow. My wokeness. I think the first movie, this is kind of funny. I think the first movie that really had an impact on me was Lilo and Stitch, the cartoon.
Nice.
Yeah, because I don't know. I think her loneliness in that movie, I think it kind of hit a place that, you know, kind of resonated with a 60-year-old me. And that made me go like, you have to be nice. You have to be nice to people. You have to. And that was a very like simple thought that, and I used to watch that movie over and over. I'd like rewind it on VHS and over and over. I'd learn the dance and everything. And exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think it started me on a journey to always want to put my best foot forward, always want to be there for, you know, people, especially the people close to me.
Yeah.
And just treat like, because when you're in school, there's so many different people from so many different backgrounds.
Right.
And you all have to be there together and somehow coexist. And I think kindness has a lot to do with that, even if you don't completely understand each other, even if you won't be together, you know, side by side later in life. I think, you know, meeting people that are different from you and that kind of challenge the way that you think, I think it's important. And to be able to show kindness to those people when, you know, it doesn't resonate with you.
Yeah. Now, a question for you. If you could go back in time and give young you some type of advice, what advice would you give a younger version of you?
Oh, God. Stop caring what other people think.
Don't care or do care?
Don't. Just do what you want to do. Do what you like. Stop, you know, there's so many things to do and all of them are equally as cool and important.
I like that.
If you want to dance, dance. If you want to do acting, act. If you want to go to college, go to college. Whatever you want to do, no matter what other people tell you. I think kids in small towns, especially, because there's such a pressure to conform
and play it safe, and to play it safe.
And I think, you know, what if 12-year-old me, who was, you know, made fun of for being in a movie, if I hadn't cared about, you know, fitting in or like wanting people to like me, and, you know, what if I hadn't cared and just like continued, and then I wouldn't have to start again at 18. Right. Not that I, you know, would have it any other way, because but acting helped me process a shit ton of trauma.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had to take that break. I had to kind of, you know, get into it that way. But I don't know. I wonder what I would have gone on to do.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too. Now let's...
So kids in small towns, if any of you ever watch this,
Don't listen to the bullshit.
don't give it. No, like, because now when I'm out of school and everybody's like scattered, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. And the time that you spend cultivating the things that bring you joy and the things that you like and find interesting, it's going to be so much more valuable than what Becky in 8th grade thought of your dress or the fact that you were in a movie.
Becky needs to just go and jump into a river.
Becky needs to just, Becky's going to end up wherever the fuck she wants to end up. And you're going to go wherever you're going to go.
Becky.
We shouldn't demonize Becky's. Becky's are probably nice people, but
Becky. Is that better?
Also you, Becky, go ahead, do what you want to do.
Hey,
Stop
right?
thinking about what other people are doing. Just
Becky.
Just center yourself.
Exactly. Because Becky probably has some trauma of her own that's causing her to judge.
Of course she does.
Of
course she does.
Exactly. And I think that's what I had as well. Like, for me, I wish that someone had have just told me not to care. Or care about what's important. Maybe care about
you.
Yeah.
Care about what you think, not about what other people think.
I remember, I was seeing this one therapist, and I think back about what this guy told me, and I was just like, what? I was working with therapy, and I was like, you know what? I want to be a musician and an actor. And he's like, you'll always have that opportunity, but you should probably get a safe career, maybe go into medicine or something. And it really influenced me, and I followed it. I started studying to be a doctor, and then I hated it. I liked the information. But the idea of being stuck in a doctor's office, it was Eastern medicine, so I studied acupuncture and herbology, which was at least a compromise, something that was more interesting to me. But I got to the 4th year of school, and finally I was like, what am I doing? I don't want to work in an office putting needles in people all day. Love the information, but not what I wanted to do. And finally I quit, and I moved up to LA to become an actor. And that was what happened. So I think that we are told too often to play it safe and to care what people think. Now let's imagine, this is a question I've been asking everyone. I have the genie's lamp, and you rub it, genie pops out. You got a wish.
Aladdin, by the way, one of my favorite movies of all time.
New version or old version?
Old version.
Robin Williams, right?
Jasmine.
Not hating on...
Sassy, doesn't take no shit.
Right.
My mom is, I have Palestinian heritage.
Yes.
On my mom's side. And, she had a funny name. And everybody, will kind of comment on it and all that stuff. And then I would watch Aladdin, and I was like, oh, so this is what, that's where it comes from. This is the culture. This is some kind of representation from that side. And I was just like, it kind of combines a lot of cultures.
Yeah, I think it does. There's a definite mixing. But I mean,
it's Disney, but
it's still, my daughter has the same thing. When she watches, though they did a better job with Raya, my daughter is half Vietnamese and half American. And so she watches some of those, and she'll be like, they look like me. And I was like, yes. And that's awesome. But
it is, and so important.
It's so important because, it's like she likes to dress like the Elsa dress, but she's like, Daddy, I don't have blonde hair. And I said, and that's not a problem. You can look however you want. You can be, you, Elsa. You can be you.
Yeah, you can be Asian Elsa. Exactly. You can be Arab Elsa. You can be Elsa. Elsa doesn't need to be a Scandinavian blonde woman.
Right. And
she's just a figure.
Exactly. It just enjoy the music, have fun. But so Aladdin, you got the lamp. Let's circle back.
Okay. Yeah.
What are you gonna wish for?
You got the lamp. What am I gonna wish for?
Let's pull it. Of course, we would all understand there's gonna be a wish for world peace and things like that. But let's imagine something that revolves around something that affects you, something personal.
Do I get 3 wishes?
Sure, if you want 3.
It's the magic lamp, isn't it?
It is.
Okay. I think number one, maybe this is kind of superficial, but I'd wish for more money
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'd love to be able to buy my mom a house and, have my sisters be taken care of and, have them, have the possibility to go to whatever college education, whatever they want to do.
Yeah,
I think the safety of money would be pretty cool.
I agree. Yeah, whoever
Um,
let's be real. Whoever says money can't buy happiness has never been broke.
yeah,
And like, sure, money itself can't buy happiness, but it can sure help create stability, and stability can
yeah,
help create happiness. Let's be real.
yeah.
So,
No, like people say that money can't buy happiness. It absolutely can. In this day and age, it
yep,
buys you a roof over your head. It buys you food in your stomach.
yep,
It buys you clothes, everything. You know how much it sucks to be in an upper middle class school and not be able to afford the sneakers that everybody else is wearing?
mm,
It's something you got to process. It's just,
yeah,
added, they add to the trauma, this system that we kind of are
yep,
born into. And money is a really big part of that.
yep.
And my mom, we don't have a house. I'd love to be able to buy her a house. If I ever, let's manifest this, when I make money from acting,
I like it.
I will buy her a house.
I'm with you. And I will bring you back on my show, and we will do the, like the, oh my God, it's the house.
I'd love that. We do like a reveal
The
and
reveal.
like this is I kind of want to make it dramatic, like blindfold her and
You
give her the
have to.
keys and not
You
tell her what it's
You
for
have
and all
to.
this. Yeah. No,
Right.
absolutely.
I like it.
Okay.
Right, number 2.
Second wish. I think I'd wish for this is kind of lame, but inner peace.
I dig that.
I'd love to just feel stable, but I guess the roller coaster is
Peaceful.
what kind of makes it interesting. But yeah, because I've struggled with depression quite a lot.
Yeah.
So when I'm like down in the lowest of lows, I've always kind of looked at people that seem so mentally healthy, and I've always wondered like, what is it like to just have a steady flow of serotonin?
I feel you. It sounds funny, but I get it.
Yeah.
All right, wish number 3.
I'd wish for a truly equal society between men and women.
I dig that.
Yeah.
We had this conversation as well that before we started the call, and yeah, I'm all for balancing things out, and I really see that more now after having a daughter. It was a eye-opening experience to me.
And I think, I don't know, I'm so terrified. My sister's 13 and she's going into she just got Snapchat, and I'm just like hyperventilating, like trying to tell her, to block fuckboys that ask her for nudes and, all these stuff.
Did you ever read The Catcher in the Rye?
I didn't know.
You gotta read that. The book's about that. There's the story of the main character is Holden Caulfield, and it's this kid who's processing his feelings of the world being a big scary place, and and he tells this story about how his sister was riding the merry-go-round, and the old merry-go-rounds, they used to try to reach for the gold ring. And so there'd be this thing, you try to reach over and pull out, everyone would pull out different rings, and if you got the gold ring, you were the winner. But these kids had to reach way far out, and it looks like they were going to fall off. It was like super sketchy and not safe at all. It was like 1920s, or 1940s, like, let's try this, kids, Definitely not.
Seatbelts,
yeah.
What are those?
Let them fall down. They'll be okay. Dislocated everything, and so. But the kid was like, he's like, and then he was saying this analogy of like he felt like he was this kid standing in the rye, in the tall ryegrass, and there was a cliff back here. And then he asked him, "What job do you want to have?" And he says, I want to be the catcher in the rye. The person, all these kids are running to the edge, and I want to be the person who tries to catch them. And what he realizes at the end of the book is you can't. You can't save everyone. And that's kind of the epiphany that he has, that you have to just be zen in a way of just not having faith, but there's this surrender. This point of surrender, and it's tough at times.
I think women should not surrender. I think we should up our standards collectively so that men become, or certain behavior becomes utterly unacceptable.
Well, that is a good point. Like, that book was very much 1940s, 1950s, and I always appreciated the idea of like letting go and letting flow, but at the same time, you're spot on. There's some things that shouldn't be surrendered, and there are some people that should be protected. It's time to write the rewrite. It's time to update the book.
Update the book, yeah. Make a movie. We'll based
Burn down the rye.
Modern remake.
Yeah, OSHA, and it's like there is a fence and railing, and we have ways to protect everyone. I like it though. I mean, as the father of a 5-year-old daughter, I am going to, as soon as the lockdown ends, I already teach her martial arts. She's going to be studying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I can't always save her, but I can sure as hell.
No, but isn't that terrifying as a father and as just, a person, because you're male, you will never know what it's truly like to have someone physically above you. Not really.
Yeah.
And I think, teaching men the respect, it's we could go down a rabbit hole if we
will do it next time. Let's plan to bring you back on and talk about bringing down the patriarchy. I'm all for that.
Yes. I'll be the poster child for bringing down the patriarchy.
All right. It's cool. I like it.
You can look at my smile and be assured that I am taking none of your shit.
I appreciate that, and I'm lucky to have a wife that doesn't take any of my shit and a daughter that doesn't take any of my shit. So it's been a heck of a wake up call. Yeah, it is.
Respect women. Literally every person. You came out of one, and it's so funny that you're nurtured by a woman, you're hungry, you go to a woman, you fall when you're playing, you go to mom and you get comforted, and then suddenly you grow up and you're a fucking dick. There's a disconnect there that's just not computing, and I think men also have a huge responsibility
100%.
in how they treat women and how the role models that they give to are for their sons.
And I think this is something that I hope people start making movies about. I hope that we start writing this stuff.
Should we make a movie about that?
Let's write it. We've already talked about one where I play your deadbeat dad, so maybe we expand this on that.
What about the Mafia Princess
movie? That too.
We could write it into that.
I think it could.
Like a little bit of a... Absolutely.
I'm on it. Well, I want to wrap up on that note. I want to say thank you for coming on. And
thank you so much for having me.
I hope
this was cool. I was really nervous throughout the entire thing. I was trying to, seem normal.
No, it's all good.
But actually, I'm holding a piece of Labradorite and praying to God that
Don't worry. I secretly
nice
will
to
have
see you,
meditation
as
music
always.
on in the background, so I can calm down.
Yeah. In the ear, you're just like,
I'm okay.
Frequencies.
I'm okay. And then I have to edit this tomorrow, and then I would sit there and and I notice sometimes I'll try to say something when someone's saying something, and it isn't even oh, that's nice. I'll be like, oh, and I'm just like, man.
Hey, let's embrace the imperfection. Wow.
Right? Embrace the
Let's embrace the imperfections, because I think that's there's way too much of that these days. Don't be perfect, just be
you.
Whatever the hell happens.
I appreciate that. Well,
go for it. Go for it. Oh God, where's there's a saying that's 20 seconds of insane bravery might bring you to something beautiful. So even if you don't think you can do it, just do it anyway.
Be brave, be stupid, try it.
The Fool
Be the Fool.
in tarot.
Yeah, right?
Go for it.
Perfect
That's how
example.
I got that's how I auditioned for Lene.
Yeah. If you don't try, there's no chance. So try.
You'll miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Michael Jordan. Nice.
Exactly.
And we'll finish on that note. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in.